What's going on, everybody? We're going to be doing a mock draft today. This is going to be mock draft 1.0 for the New England Patriots in 2026. Now, this is obviously subject to change quite a bit since it's pre-free agency and pre-combine and all these things, but I thought it'd be fun to get one out of the way now with kind of a preliminary look at some of the guys who I think New England might target. So, with that said, let's get right into it. If you're new here, if you like the content, consider subscribing. I really appreciate it, and try to get this thing built up and underway. So let's get going here with pick number 31. I have them taking Akeem Messidor from Miami. You could make an argument that edge defender and wide receiver are the two biggest needs for this team outside of like offensive linemen. Um, the thing is this though, when I compare them, the positions of edge defender and wide out, I trust the depth of the wide receiving core more than I trust the depth of the edge defenders that we have on this team. Uh, Outside of K'Lavon Chaisson and Harold Landry, there wasn't a ton of edge help. And you can look at Milton Williams or Christian Barmore, but these guys are not Aaron Donald. They're not going to be generating tons and tons of pressures in the interior and getting 10 plus sacks. It's not really who they are. They're disruptors, yes, but they're more of a plug the hole and defend the run kind of guys for the most part. But um, I think that edge defender, this is a really good edge defender class. I think that it would be wise for them to use that first pick on the best available. I've seen mocks with Akeem Messidor going as high as high teens, low 20s, things like that. I've seen him going as low as early second round. I think 31, based on NFL.com, Tankathon, all these sites that we all know about, that 31 mark seems realistic. And so if he is there at 31, I love Akeem Messidor. I think he's plug and play right away. And because I don't anticipate them being able to re-sign and keep K'Lavon Chaisson. He's going to be a little too expensive. They have other priorities that they're going to want to handle. So Akeem Messidor, I have them taking at 31. I do have a couple of trades in this mock just for shits and giggles, if you will. So I do have them moving up in the second round from pick 63 to pick 50 overall. And I have them taking Elijah Surratt, wide receiver from Indiana. And I think that this would be a picture perfect fit for them for what they need. They don't need shifty, smaller receivers. They have plenty of those. They're going to need a guy who's going to be able to replace the role of Mac Hollins, because Mac, I love Mac Hollins, but he's also 33 years old. So I would probably prefer that they keep Mac around if they do get a guy like Elijah Surratt, because good mentor, good guy to learn from, but he's going to play a role that the New England Patriots are going to need. They're going to need a big outside X receiver, and he was extremely productive at Indiana. And coming from a coach like Signetti, I think Vrabel is going to like having guys like that who he knows are going to be coachable and be able to play right out the gate. So I got Elijah Surratt going 50 overall. At 95 overall, I think they're going to take the best tackle available, which to me at 95, realistically, the best one available is probably going to be Isaiah World. If he goes higher, maybe like in the 70s or something, I wouldn't be shocked. If he slips a little bit, maybe past 100 by a few picks, I equally probably would not be that shocked. Isaiah World, though, is a left tackle, and he is a 4-year starter, which is going to be super sought after by many teams. To know that he's mature, to know that he has a lot of experience in college playing that left side and playing at a pretty high level. Not the best left tackle, but he's been productive. He's been an asset to the teams he's been on. And the fact that he's played left, but they don't need a left, means you can probably plug him in at right, and he's going to be perfectly fine, perfectly capable at right tackle. I'm going off of the assumption that they keep Will Campbell at left because that's what Mike Vrabel said. He said he's 22. We're not moving him to guard. We're not moving him to center. We're not playing him at tight end. We're not doing whatever with him. He's our left tackle. So like, okay, I'm not going to pretend to know more about football than Mike Vrabel. So going off the assumption that Will Campbell is our left tackle, Isaiah World can be your right tackle when Morgan Moses finally decides to hang him up. At pick 131, I have Dallin Bentley, the tight end from Utah. I like this guy a lot. He is a pure receiving tight end. Utah has a knack for producing good tight ends. We see it with like Dalton Kincaid, for example. Um, Before going to Michigan, Kyle Whittingham did a really good job developing tight ends at his time there. Dallin could go much higher than this. If he has a good combine, I actually would expect him to go higher than 131. But I'm going to go off of the NFL.com and, lack of a better word, expert opinions of him, which is around that round 4 mark. But tight end is going to be a sneaky big need, positional need for them, because they're probably not going to re-sign Austin Hooper, and Hunter Henry's 31. So the only other like real tight end that you have on the roster is Jack Westover, who they use more as a fullback. So I really like Dallin Bentley. He might be at 131 if he is available. He's probably going to be the best available tight end on the board. At pick 169 in the 5th round, I have them taking Miles Scott, who's a free safety from Illinois. I think that this is a perfect scheme fit for what New England runs, for what they're going to need. Safety is going to be a sneaky big need for them, because they're going to want to try to re-sign Jalen Hawkins. I don't know if it's going to be a guarantee, though, because he's probably going to demand in that 12 to possibly upwards of 15 million a year contract. So they have a lot of guys who, well, not a lot of guys, but they have only a few guys, but who they're going to demand a lot of money. So you're going to have to re-sign or extend Christian Gonzalez, which means 35 million a year is a possibility. If you want to re-sign K'Lavon Chaisson, he's going to be a 15 million a year guy. If you want to re-sign Jalen Hawkins, he might be upwards of 15 million himself. If Jalen Hawkins moves on, free safety becomes a vital need, and you're going to need to find somebody to pair with Craig Woodson. Miles Scott is very productive. He comes from a good family. He's very coachable. So I like his demeanor on and off the field. He's instinctual. He plays that kind of back roving defensive back. That's what you're going to need if Jalen Hawkins moves on. I really like Miles Scott as a scheme and culture fit. I have them trading up to 177, so you're going to lose 193 and 211. But at 177, I have them taking Xavier Harris, who's a defensive lineman from Ole Miss. This guy is an absolute mountain. He's 6'7", over 320 pounds. The guy is super disruptive. He's gonna. I'm not positive that Christian Barmore he might not be back next year. There's a few things with, he might demand more money, and if they can't afford to extend him or something, or restructure it, he might leave. But there's also the off the field issues with Christian Barmore. I've heard multiple outlets mention that Barmore being on the team next season is not a 100% guarantee. But even aside from that, there's not amazing depth on the interior as of right now either. There's a few guys, you got like Joshua Farmer and guys like that. But Xavier Harris, if he's on the board at 177, at that size, at that strength, at that, at those measurables, you can't really pass him up, because it opens the door for you to be able to do a lot of different things scheme wise and do different packages. He was highly productive at Ole Miss. He's super disruptive. You have to game plan for him, because he's probably going to be bigger than everybody on your interior of your offensive line. So I do like Xavier Harris there. At pick 190, this might be the most Mike Vrabel player on this in this mock. It's Jack Kelly, who's a linebacker from BYU. The guy is 6'2", around 245. So he's not super heavy. He's a little more of an athlete, right? But he has 10 sacks on the season. And so to have the good sideline to sideline speed, to be able to spy quarterbacks, to be able to run stunts and different blitz packages is going to be something that they're going to have, because they're gonna lose some linebackers. Second level, they're gonna have to find new bodies, new young guys to develop for the future. A guy with that kind of production on paper, though, you might be wondering how would he fall to 190? And it's mostly just because of coverage. He does get lost in coverage at times. He struggles against tight ends, and that's something that they're going to have to coach up in him. He's going to have to be coached up in that no matter where he goes. But it's not a massive deal to me. That is something that to me is very coachable as long as he has the necessary athleticism, which in my estimation he does. So I like Jack Kelly there at 190. At pick 208, I have them taking some corner depth with Devin Marshall from NC State. Not a super big guy. Does play more of a he does have nickel and perimeter corner experience, so I like the versatility. You can put him in multiple spots. Might even be able to play him at safety if you wanted to move him there. Wouldn't shock me. A couple of interceptions with 15 pass breakups. The guy's very instinctual. He has a nose for the ball. Um, so I like Devin Marshall. I'm not positive, honestly, as to why he's projected to go in the 6th or 7th round, but he is. I've checked every single draft analysis website, every talking head, and they've all kind of agreed that he's a 6th round pick. I don't get it. If he does fall and the Patriots take him, I would not be upset in the slightest. Very productive, very instinctual, nose for the ball. It's everything you want out of a corner. Could be your Alex Austin depth replacement as well. Alex is he's a restricted free agent, so he's not going to be expensive. So they might end up re-signing him anyway, but they're going to need corner depth for sure. And lastly, at pick 247, I have them taking Connor Tollison, who's a interior offensive lineman from Missouri. A little on the lighter side. He's probably close. I know ESPN has him listed in the 280s, but he's probably closer to 300 pounds. Definitely not a tackle, probably more of a guard center type. But with the way the Patriots offensive line performed this season, it's not going to be shocking to me if they experiment putting guys in different parts of the line. So Garrett Bradbury, I think if you cut him, you might save up a few million in cap, which means you can move Jared Wilson back to center, which is his kind of natural position that he played in college. He was the best center in the draft, so I'd like to play him at center. But if you do that, they're probably gonna want to opt for a veteran at guard in free agency, at least to start. But they don't have a ton of guard depth anyway. Connor is more of a scheme fit, if anything. Missouri, their offensive line ran a lot of the same types of packages and plays, and the system just fits the way New England plays their run game and whatnot. He's definitely better against the run than he is the pass, but that's just, again, it's a lot of these traits are just coachable things. Are you coachable? And they are. It's not like these guys can't be coached up to do these things. So quick recap for you. I'll put it on the screen. Akeem Messidor, Elijah Surratt, Isaiah World, Dallin Bentley, Miles Scott, Xavier Harris, Jack Kelly, Devin Marshall, and Connor Tollison. This is the Patriots 2026 mock draft 1.0. Obviously, again, subject to change because we are very early. But I love talking ball. I love talking the draft. I'm definitely a draft nerd. I fall into that Alex Barth realm, honestly. I watch all 7 rounds. I watch every single pick. I love doing draft analysis and like kind of amateur couch scouting, if you will. So that's my preliminary mock draft for you guys. Tell me what you think in the comments. Tell me where you think I'm wrong, where you think I'm right, if anything. Again, if you like the content, consider subscribing. Let's try to get this channel up and going. Really appreciate it. Thanks.